Welcome back. We're so glad to have you back with us for this final session. And we have Paul Miller with us. He's the executive director of NCREDA. And NCREDA is Nye County Regional Economic Development Authority. And something he didn't say earlier, and we've talked about it during the break, was the fact that he's a one-man show. He handles all of this by himself. And he does so much for not only our county, but for the towns that he represents. And there are how many towns?
12 townships.
12 townships that he handles, and he's all over the place doing good work for all of us. So Paul, again, let's go back and finish some of the things you wanted to talk about.
Well, let's talk about financing. Okay. We have our own. NCREDA has our own little revolving loan fund that is sponsored through the United States Department of Agriculture.
That's the small business loan?
That's the small business loan,
okay.
$5,000. So if somebody has an idea about a business, step into my office, come and talk to me about it. We have to have a business plan. If you don't know how to do a business plan, I will help you build that business plan. You know,
okay.
We will talk about your business. We'll see whether it's viable and can function here in Pahrump or wherever you want it, like that Beatty, Amargosa, Tonopah. And if we can't meet the demand of your level of financing, we have several agencies that do. USDA, RNDC, which is the regional Nevada Development Center. So we've got several private organizations that we can go to submit your business plan and your request for funding. And there are all kinds of government programs out there that you may qualify under. As a matter of fact, just for an example, I had a gentleman walk into my office just yesterday, and he was so proud to announce, and he wrote me a fantastic business plan, and unfortunately, I am under client privilege, so I can't discuss exactly who this is, but I'm giving you an example of, he came in and he said, you know what, Paul, I went out and I decided to ask for a separate grant from the United States government. And I'm going, okay, wow. You know, I mean, right out of the blue, you know, he decided to go ahead for that grant. And he hasn't been turned down yet. We're waiting now for an answer in regards to this. Okay. And this will be a really great little business that, if he can get this off the ground, will be great. But financing small businesses and working with small businesses and we do it all. We help them counsel. We'll do an assessment of their business. If they're actually in a business, we'll go in there, and unfortunately, we may break some people's heart by telling them, look, you just can't sell hamburgers and make a living. It's not going to work. Okay. You know, we'll help them do a marketing analysis, or we'll give them our marketing analysis of the retail business that is going on here. We'll ask them to take a look around them in their business environment. What other businesses are working around you and why? Why? And, and then people say, well, one of the things I first learned was location, location, location. Well, that is so true, but there's only so many great locations that are available for businesses. So okay. They're going to have to take a secondary or third level location in regards to being in the best location. And then they need to do an assessment of that. They need to say, wait a minute, I'm going to go into a lease program with this business partner or this building custodian or business owner, and I'm going to put myself into X amount of debt for this amount of period of time. Do I want to do that before I make an assessment of my business and whether or not it'll work? So those are some of the things that we'll help them with.
When you say that, to my mind comes, my business is going to be producing widgets and selling widgets.
Right.
And then I find that there are several other businesses in town selling widgets, and they're not doing too good.
Right.
So I need to assess whether my business is going to be successful if those others aren't.
Right. And that's what we tell them too.
Outstanding.
We sit there and we say, do you know how many people are already selling this? Or you have a lot of competition, so you need to really understand what your competition is about. So, we go through all of that with them. And for those larger businesses that come in, there are incentives from the Governor's Office of Economic Development. And I won't try to explain them here because there's a lot of detail in regards to the requirements of, it even goes to the point of how much money you have to pay your employees to be approved for these incentives. But we have those, and I'm willing to send those to anyone that emails me and says, hey, Paul, I'd really like to take a look at those. Hey, we do it every day. We have people that inquiry through NCREDA and are looking for statistics in regards to population, median household income, how many people are, in poverty here, how many housing units do you got, what's your median housing cost, so forth and so on. We have all those statistics, we do them annually, and we run those out to businesses so they can evaluate whether or not we have the capability to give their business the chance to make a profit out here. And that's what it's all about. Now, the other side of that is, that I didn't discuss, excuse me, is that one of the things that we're also obligated to do is to help the county bring in revenue. So these businesses are important in regards to the fact that they will pay taxes, in regards to.
So we want them to be successful to make us successful.
Exactly. This is money coming into the county, and it's very important that we promote that. And that's not the word I want to do, but we consider that, when we're bringing in businesses, because we want that. We need that income for our county, our town, or those other townships to be able to use that money for something they want to do in their community.
Okay. Now, you had a flyer. What's the information on the flyer? Well,
as you can see, and I'll just look at mine while the screen is there. As you can see, NCREDA is in partnership, and we're in partnership with the government here in Nye County, the federal government, those agencies. So you can see there's a ring of various agencies in town, in the community that we work with. For instance, and I'll give you one, workforce development is probably one of the major ones I work with, is when Jack in the Box was starting to come into town last year. The first thing, we were in communications with them, and we said, look, we have a workforce development agency through Nye County Community Coalition, and they can offer you this service. So remember that when you come into town and start building your facility, how many people are you going to look for, and exactly what's going on right now.
Okay.
So that's one example of the agencies that we use here. I have Al Parker, who is another government kind of entity, state entity, small business association. He's a local counselor here, and he will whip up on your business plan and tell you exactly what it needs. So we have him to assist us in regards to assessing businesses and stuff like that. We work with numerous agencies, school districts. We've had a charter school come in here and take a look around, and we've gotten them feedback. You name it, we'll do it if we got the information to provide them, to give them a positive view of this is the place you want to be. This is what we need, So, and that's just the flyer is something that we give out. So come on up to my office, which is on the second floor of the Nevada State Building, 1301 South 160 Highway. And
Nevada State Bank.
Nevada State Bank, second floor, up there where the Chamber of Commerce is.
Okay.
And you'll see our five offices off to the right-hand side as you come up. And just ask for me. If I'm not there, I have a little table that has the flyer, my card, some additional information. Grab it. You know, get back, leave me a message. You will hear from me. Believe me, you will. If you don't, it's because either I didn't understand your message or I didn't get the correct phone number. But I don't think I have never not called anybody back.
If you're not in the office, where might you be?
Oh, well, I have several businesses that I'm working with up in Tonopah. I have several businesses I'm working with out of Amargosa Valley.
Okay. So
One of them I'll just
you can be in any of those
right,
places.
and I'll just bring an example here. This one I can talk about. It's called Pacific Rim and Steel Truss. It just came out of Henderson. They came in on short notice about 4 weeks ago. And it was stop everything you're doing, Paul, because this has the potential for 14, 15 employees. This is important.
Okay.
Good paying jobs, you know, and where can you put us? We can't seem to find a place in Pahrump. So here we go. I got to go out to all my contacts, everybody I know who owns property, land, and say, what do we got? Where do we got it? And I, you know, several trips later, several viewing of various facilities that were compatible with what they needed, we found them a home out in Amargosa Valley. So they're going to be operating out of there for a while. I still think they want to move here into Pahrump or closer, and that will be discussed within the next year or so.
Okay.
Another one that you see going on, if you've run across Mount Charleston, way out there, you'll see the new daycare center going up.
Oh.
Yeah, that's totally been redeveloped. We're waiting now for final certification from the state in regards to the facility.
Okay.
And she'll be opening the doors on that. If people like to ride their mountain bikes, Dave Spicer's ranch right outside of Beatty is available for you. And he has just did a regional Burning Man a project out there for 2 days. Besides his mountain bike big events that he takes place out there, those bring in money because guess what? People need a place to stay at night. They need a place to eat if they're going to be overnighting, you know. So
this is great information.
I'm sorry,
I'm hoping everybody is writing this stuff down and making sure you can get in touch with P. Miller at doingbusinessinNye.net, and you have his phone number on the screen. Look, if you need any of this information, please call him. And Paul, thanks for being here.
Oh,
today.
thanks a lot.
And thank you for watching.